Hello, and welcome to the most must-see detective show. Detective Catch here, your very own private investigator. Now let me paint you a picture of a world different from the one you know. A world where the government is not what it seems, where powerful secret societies pull the strings from behind the scenes, and where things worse than you can imagine are still at play. A world where the truth is hidden in plain sight, and only those with the courage to seek it out will ever truly understand the forces that shape our reality. As I delve deeper into this twisted world of horror, I uncover shocking truths that the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. But be warned, as you delve deeper into this sinister world, you may find that the truth is more horrifying than you could have ever imagined. Bitcoin was not invented until the late 2000s. Its beginnings, on the other hand, date back a few decades. We can specifically date it back to 1982. That is when computer scientist David Chaum suggested the concept of eCash for the first time. Back in the early 1980s, Chaum wrote a paper titled Blind Signatures for Untraceable Payments that explained a new type of encryption that he claimed could allow for an automated payment system where third parties could not access information about the payment. In 1990, Chaum attempted to put this notion, which would result in a blind signature system, into practice by launching DigiCash. DigiCash was an Amsterdam-based startup that, like Bitcoin, aimed to develop a safe and secure internet currency. Chaum's reputation as a brilliant thinker drew both personnel and venture cash. But the product never took off, and by the late 1990s, DigiCash had gone bankrupt. Nonetheless, Chaum opened the door for additional cypherpunks with similar goals. Atom Back devised Hashcash in 1997, a proof-of-work mechanism that is remarkably similar to the one used by Bitcoin. Two cryptocurrency concepts emerged unexpectedly this year. Wade published an essay in late 1998 outlining his concept for B-Money, a cryptocurrency whose exchange reads closely to what the blockchain in Bitcoin would later become. The currency is created by the proof-of-work system by solving a mathematical computation, and the transfer of money is broadcast to the network. That same year, Nick Szabo proposed a similar scheme for BitGold. Szabo's motivation for developing alternative currency was to develop something that did not require a third party, such as a central bank, to produce or control it. Similar to Bitcoin's blockchain, solving the proof-of-work earns you bits, and the last bit of the string is utilized to form the string of the following transaction. However, nothing of these projects came to fruition. Those predecessors had tried and failed over the previous 2 decades. Then came Bitcoin in 2008. Bitcoin.org was registered in August of that year. 2 months later, a white paper titled Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, was released. The white paper's goals were identical to those of the previous papers: secure digital signatures, no need for a third party, proof of work, and hashing transactions together to form a chain. The Bitcoin paper was written by Satoshi Nakamoto, an unknown individual or group of persons. The first Bitcoin block, known as the Genesis block, was mined just a few days into 2009. The first prototype of Bitcoin software was launched on January 9th, and the first Bitcoin transaction occurred on January 12th, when Nakamoto delivered 10 Bitcoins to prominent computer programmer and developer Hal Finney. In October, the new Liberty Standard releases the first Bitcoin exchange rate in the history of the nascent cryptocurrency, determining $1 to be worth 1,309.03 BTC. In December, Nakamoto released the second version of the software. With an established exchange rate, it was only a matter of time until someone attempted to make a real transaction with Bitcoins. It happened in May of 2010. Laszlo Hanyecz, a programmer from Florida, delivered 10,000 BTC to a man in London in return for 2 pizzas worth $25. A single Bitcoin was still worth a fraction of a penny, but with a purchase, interested parties saw promise in the commodity. A few months later, Bitcoin's value finally surpassed the cent mark. A key year for Bitcoin exchanges. The first Bitcoin exchanges appeared in 2010, as well Bitcoin Market in February, and Mt. Gox in July. Slush, the first mining pool, also successfully mined Bitcoin for the first time that year. Mining pools are places where multiple miners pool their resources in order to obtain Bitcoin. By November, Bitcoin's market capitalization had crossed $1 million for the first time. It wasn't all good news for Bitcoin. In October, someone discovered and exploited a flaw in Bitcoin's protocol. It allowed for transactions without appropriate verification, resulting in the generation of 184 billion BTC. The transaction was quickly wiped, and the vulnerability was patched, after steadily increasing in value after eventually breaking the 1 cent threshold. One Bitcoin was worth $1 for the first time in February 2011. Bitcoin began to receive press, both positive and negative. Time magazine released the first report about Bitcoin, but the same year, Gawker published an article about Silk Road, the dark web drug market where Bitcoin was regularly used as payment. Because of the publicity, Bitcoin was valued more than $30 by June. Soon after, it fell back to around $10. In June, Mt. Gox experienced a catastrophic security breach that exposed tens of thousands of accounts in Bitcoins. Mt. Gox would not be dealing with its first security issue. Nonetheless, Bitcoin was becoming an entity that more and more people were aware of, and interest in the cryptocurrency surged. This resulted in the creation of altcoins, or new types of cryptocurrency established by developers who were either attempting to improve on Bitcoin or creating the digital coin for a different reason. Litecoin, the seventh largest cryptocurrency by market valuation, debuted in 2011. If 2011 was a rough year for Bitcoin, 2012 was a much better ride on its approach to becoming the world's most valuable digital currency. Bitcoin crossed the $100 mark in April. In 2013, the price of Bitcoin fluctuated, and it eventually reached $1,000 for the first time, making it the most recognizable and successful wallet and exchange available. Then it froze for a bit. It quickly plummeted below $1,000 in January 2014 and battled for several years below the crucial level. A few notable events occurred, such as crypto exchange Mt. Gox going bankrupt and closing down, but this time saw Bitcoin rise and dip somewhat, while failing to reach its high. However, 2017 was the greatest and busiest year for Bitcoin. After desperately clawing its way back up in 2016, it eventually approached and passed the $1,000 barrier in 2017. It continued to rise. Bitcoin was valued more than $3,000 by June. Nonetheless, other Bitcoin users were also dissatisfied with the network at this period. The growing number of Bitcoin miners resulted in increased fees and more time spent processing transactions, prompting some to advocate for a larger block size. This resulted in the creation of Bitcoin Cash, BCH, in August as a result of a network fork. Bitcoin Cash is now the fifth largest cryptocurrency in terms of market capitalization. Nonetheless, Bitcoin was on the rise throughout the rest of 2017. By October, it had surpassed $6,000. It was approximately $10,000 at the end of November, and by the end of December, it had reached a high of $19,783. As the price continued to rise, more and more people and businesses began to follow the trend. Unsurprisingly, it would not maintain its rapid development. 2018 was also a difficult year for Bitcoin users, particularly those who believed the price would continue to rise. Many people sold their Bitcoins while they could, and the price fell gradually throughout the year. As for Bitcoin, it saw an incredible bull run from 2019 to 2021, the finest in Bitcoin history. However, by the middle of 2021, Bitcoin had fallen deep into the crypto abyss and is now priced far lower than its all-time high. One question remains unanswered. Who exactly is Satoshi Nakamoto? Satoshi Nakamoto is only a pen name. However, the perpetrator remains unknown. It is still so mysterious that some believe it is more than one person, doubting that a single person could construct something as complex as the Bitcoin network. Others, though, have raised the potential of it being one person, and there are numerous theories as to who that one person could be. None have been confirmed. Who are the people who some believe could be Satoshi? Some of them, such as BitGold founder Nick Szabo, whose concepts were strikingly similar to those of Bitcoin, have already been mentioned in this article. Others believe it was Hal Finney, a well-known developer that Nakamoto transferred Bitcoins to in the first Bitcoin transaction back in 2009. One guy is thought to be Satoshi because he tried to say he was. Craig Wright was that person, an Australian businessman who not only publicly claimed to be Satoshi Nakamoto, but also promised to give proof. He has yet to produce this proof. And that concludes today's episode. But like always, remember that we must unite as a community while the world around us continues to twist and corrupt. In the face of uncertainty, we must stand together in support of one another. You are helping our channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing this video, as well as promoting awareness and community cohesion. Only together can we overcome the darkness and meet any obstacle that arises. As a result, I kindly request that you take a moment to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with your loved ones. Let's unite and grow stronger collectively. Thank you for watching, and until next time, stay vigilant.